Hi, it's Diane Nito, and we're back with Mark Turcotte on Real Estate News and Views. Today, we're going to talk about exactly where is the consumer sitting.
Next bout, I'm about to go bigger and better. If I ever lose, said I know I'm faster than ever. If I ever lose, said I know I'm bigger and better. Hitting roller coaster, come bigger, bolder, faster.
Welcome back to the channel. If you like this content or want to get more information on the Barrie real estate market, book a time with me on Calendly and we'll connect.
So, the Barrie Real Estate Board had a seminar and had somebody in with a lot of information. So, what they're talking about in the seminar is that the mortgage delinquency rate is at 0.06, which is a record low. So, everybody thought the interest rates are going to go up. People aren't going to be able to pay their mortgage. And it's going to be like a wholesale, like everybody's going to go power of sale. All the prices are going to drop because everybody has to sell. And the delinquency rate it's the lowest in 17 years.
It's funny you say that because I read some stuff last week and I saw the rates that were going back 3 and 4 up to 5 years ago. And it was 0.5, 0.5, 0.6, 0.4, really low, as you were saying too, with the delinquency. The reason they're so low is because the feds have done excessive, let's call it tightening or make it criteria to obtain conventional mortgages in this country. Stress tests. So eliminates a lot of people getting underwater, right? Not a bad thing. But what I don't understand and what I don't agree with is that they're revisiting it and they may even make it tougher now because they think delinquencies are going to be on the rise. But the data doesn't support that. So what I don't understand is that we see so many goddamn politicians talking about the housing market and talking about affordability housing for people and to get into the housing market. They are the worst culprits around because they're making it so difficult for people to get into the market. And they're gonna do some of those stress tests. They're not taking them away.
No,
So
I heard in April they're going to actually release new rules
yes,
to toughing to tighten up the lending rules. And one of the things I heard about was about being able to use the full rent. So if you're renting your basement, some lenders are allowing you to use the full rent towards your income. And I heard that they're going to stop that.
yeah. See, that's wrong. So it's not even 1%. It's 0.6. So that's 99.4% of the people paying their mortgages and not in default. Really? So we need to make that tougher? I just don't get this scenario. I
Well,
don't
I
understand.
and another stat that they talk about is the delinquency by credit type, right? And like auto is the highest and it's below 2%, and credit card is 1.5%. Well, it's hovering between 1.5, then it goes down. Um the mortgage is the very end, like right at the bottom of the whole chart.
Right.
And people are giving up on the car payment or the credit card payment. And they also
How do we
said,
know that though? How do we know that though?
well, because I guess these credit places, say FinTrack and say TransUnion, when you pull your credit reports, it shows anything that you're over 30 days.
Yes.
So I mean, this is all tracked. How many payments are going over the 30-day period or the 60-day period where they haven't made a payment? So like all the big credit companies, they're tracking all of that.
Yeah, but I get some of that stuff, but why are are these politicians and these economists saying one thing and it's not happening? And the other thing, we're seeing good things in the economy, tight labor market. People are paying their bills. We don't have excessive job claims. So there's two stories here that are just getting intertwined that to me make no sense whatsoever.
Well, because it's we're back to the consumer confidence and the media. The media is saying one thing,
Stop
but when
listening
you
to the
look,
media.
yeah, when you actually look at the numbers, the media is that, nobody wants to listen to positive news, right? They all want to listen to negative.
For
So,
sure.
I mean, the media is blowing up. This is going to happen. That's going to happen. They've got everybody in this, no one's going to be able to pay their mortgage. I have my own buyers saying that. Oh, houses are going to go down. Nobody can pay their mortgage anymore. And I'm like, most of my clients are in locked in mortgages.
Yeah, a lot
They're
of them are.
fine for the next 2 or 3 years. Nothing's happening to them.
Yeah, yeah.
But the
I had this
media,
conversation with a colleague of ours too, and he was saying, "God, you know what? I'm glad when I locked in a few years ago, right? Because it's true. He knows his payment until he's still got it for another 3 years. If it was a variable product, then that would have changed the story. But there's a lot of people out there that are in locked in, fixed rates and fixed products.
I
So
heard I heard variable rates only about 17% of the people.
right, right,
So you're talking 83 or 4 or whatever it is percent of the people are locked in.
correct, correct.
So the other stat that he said that kind of interested me a little bit is that the average homeowner still has very high equity there in their home and plenty of assets to back their overall debt. So their dollar amount of assets for every dollar of debt is still very, very good.
Right. But the media is not telling you that story, right? That's the
No.
thing. It's such a fear-based thing with this media telling everybody what's going on. And then when we have these discussions with our clients, we rarely win, right? Because oh no, I'm on CNBC or Fox or this Apple app or
CP24.
whatever, CP24. It's just unbelievable narrative that they have to control everything. And people listen to it. People buy into this shit. And and then when we tell them a stat or we tell them that the market's good, they're calling us, "Oh, you guys are just hurting for commission. You guys are going bankrupt. You're trying to get business." No. Here's the shit. It's right here. Here's the data. This is what we're seeing. This is what's selling. They actually think we're making it up. And we know what's going to happen, right? We already know what's going to happen. Right now we're in a tight inventory market, which is normal. It's February now, so it's normal. What's going to happen if inventory doesn't come up? We
Well,
know
that was
what's going to
another,
happen.
yeah, that was another thing this guy talked about is that a lot of developers are stopping the developments right now. Our population growth is huge. There was a backup from COVID, so the population growth is just going, 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 and but now we're going to have a supply problem. So how
Undersupply or oversupply?
we're going to under
Yeah. Okay.
because people that do have their locked in mortgages, they're not going to sell, Mark. Like if you're locked in, why are you going to sell or do anything?
No, but there's going to be some people too that made that. You know what I mean? If we go back, typically most people, lock in for 5 years. Some 3, but average probably 5. A lot of them are going to be coming up. So that buyer might go, "Hey, we're sitting on a lot of equity. We've paid it down quite a bit. Maybe it's time for a move." Or maybe they're going to say, "Hell no." Maybe because we don't like that mortgage product. But it's a hard balance. So to me, properties are on sale from the peak. So do you make a move now and maybe, trade up, get a bigger house?
Well,
Maybe
think
move your
about
own?
this. Think about the people that don't qualify for the mortgage they have now.
Oh,
So
100%.
if
Lots.
you allow your mortgage to auto renew, you don't have to get reapproved.
Correct.
So like me right now, I probably couldn't get approved for the mortgage I have. Honestly, I'm not
Right.
going to lie. I probably couldn't.
Right.
So what would I do? I would just let it auto renew. Can
Yep.
I pay? Can I pay for it? Yes.
Yep.
But would I be approved for it? I don't know. So why wouldn't I just let it auto approve?
No, I agree too. Right. So, and that's going to restrict supply because people aren't going to make a move right now until, some are, yes. Lot, I think we'll see some good movement in activity in the market this year, but there's going to be a lot of people too, maybe just in your position, go, hey, I got 3 more years. I don't think we get qualified for this amount, but the housing is attractive. Maybe not do that. Maybe investigate it and see. Maybe, I don't
Well,
know.
and look at 3 or 4 years ago, like since we've been in it, since we started 14 years ago, 15 years ago now, um, I can't remember if it's 14 or 15. There was all kinds of power sales, Mark. Do you remember when we started? There was all kinds of them.
2013, I think I did about 15 of them. 15.
Yeah.
And then, and then a few years later, they got less and less. And then 2017, really that's when the tightening started with the mortgage criteria and lending practices. And it's really rare to see a power sale property come up on the board.
Yeah, and
And
now you see one or two,
yeah,
and one of my clients sent me it and said, "Oh, power sales are starting." And I
yeah.
said to him, like, honestly,
No, they're
there's
not.
no, there's like no power sales compared to what there used to be.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Not
That
even
used to be pretty normal. Like I even
very
got
much.
listings from the bank
Yep.
for power of sales, and I mean, they tightened up the rules. You don't see them anymore.
You don't. You don't. No. And that's the thing, right? Like everyone's sitting back, oh, I'm looking for that deal and I'm looking for this. Well, you better go research the stats because you could be looking for a while. And people just think too on those properties, right? There's a big misconception out there. We know it. The misconception is, okay, the bank's going to sell it for what they owe. No, they're going to get an appraisal on the property. They're going to get an evaluation from the realtor. They're going to go with the appraised value no matter what. That's how it's going to be done. And then they're going to chisel it down every month until it gets sold. And then they
Mhm.
want all the feedback on the property. And what was the feedback? Well, price is too high. Home needs a lot of work. Okay, well then, here you go. It's reduce it to this price.
Well, on the power sales that I did for the bank, they actually listed higher than I recommended because
To go the
they
price
have,
higher.
yeah, because they have to get fair market value or they can get sued by the seller, like by the homeowner. So they have to try. So usually the first 30 days, it's higher than it even should be for because
Higher,
usually it's not in a
yes,
good state.
correct. But they're not going to take your valuation because you're not a licensed appraiser. You're a
No.
licensed real estate agent. So your valuation kind of is nothing in a way, right? That's what I see as well when I had them too from the
Well,
bank.
they I had to do full CMAs, like
Yeah,
full all appraisal reports. I
yeah,
did them for CIBC
yeah.
and I did some for TD. And they told me right off the hop, in 30 days you do another CMA and then we'll decide if we're going to lower the price.
That's it.
They only lower the price every 30 days.
Correct. Yep.
And they like it ended up selling for close to what I had said to begin with. But
Good.
they started like 40,000 higher. And I was told by one of the people I was working with there that they half of the time say no to the first offer just to prove that they've tried everything because they
Mhm.
can get sued, right? They have to try to
There's
get.
liability.
Yeah.
No, bottom line, power sales, they're not deals. They're not deals at all, especially in this market. Someone's,
And there's not a lot of them, like in
no,
relative to what was normal when we
mhm.
started, there's still barely anything.
Yeah, there's none. No. And that's, again, we get calls. I want to buy a power sale property. I want to flip it. Well, good luck on that one because you're not getting it for what you think it's worth or what they owe on it. So anyway, that's
Another thing that slowed the
go.
market down a lot is the amount of house, like people that are doing renovations or house flipping or buying and making legal duplexes. Like, investors are all a step back now because you can't afford to buy them and make any money, right? You can't. So a lot of people who had dated houses and stuff, you'd get a bidding war just with people, trying to flip it or convert it or do something with it to make some money on it. Well,
Mhm.
now the market is so iffy. No one's trying to do that right now.
It's a tricky market. I don't think you do that when things pick up, when you're in a strong market, right? Where there's lots of demand. I still think demand is there. I just think they're on the couch, just sitting back. And I really think this spring market will dictate the way the year's going to go. It's way too early to see how this market is going to, kind of finish out in 2023. We need to see the amount of inventory coming on, and we're going to start seeing this inventory pile on in March, maybe or maybe not. And you know, that's the question. No, we can sit here and debate this all day long, but if inventory remains tight, and remember, these buyers are used to a tight inventory market. We've seen it from part of 2020 right to the March of 2022. Hence, bidding wars came out of it. What did I see last week with I pulled up the Barrie stats, 69 properties sold on the Toronto Real Estate Board. Four of them had competition. So there's more than one buyer. We don't know how many, but more than one.
Yeah.
And again, some were priced stupidly, which I don't agree with that in a sense, because I think the buyers are really pissed still and they blame realtors for doing that all the time. So I don't think that works to advantage of trying to track them. But it stuck out my mind that it was a semi-detached on Thrushwood, I believe, priced at 650. They got 760. Why, that's the market value for that property right now, 760. It showed well, presented, a little bit dated in some areas, but decent floor plan, decent square footage.
Well, there
So,
was two or three in Innisfil that tried it
and it
and it
failed.
didn't work. It failed. Yeah, they got no offers,
Right.
and then they listed it for like 140,000 more.
Right.
There was one in Innisfil that worked. It was listed at 599 for a two-story on Jans Boulevard, pretty big house, but it
Mhm.
was tenanted. It was as is, and it got
Right.
640, or I can't remember the exact price, 680. But
Yeah,
that's still a very, very low price
it
for that
is.
house for what it
It
was.
is. It is. Yeah. And, with tenants being there, you got to put up with that. Can't get rid of them unless you pay them. So, hey, I think there's some good value in that sale on Jan's. That's for sure. But,
Yeah. My
you know,
thing is though that the bidding wars, like my clients didn't even want to go see the house once I told them, well, they're withholding
100%.
offers and they're doing this and that. They were like, we don't even want to get into it.
Right. Right. That's it. No one's getting into it. Buyers haven't forgot, they haven't forgot what happened the last couple of years. They don't want to go back to that. But what if product doesn't come on and some of these buyers get off the couch? What are they going to do? They're not going to have a choice if they want to buy. And I think with the Feds going 25 basis points and Big Tiff talking about we're done now. We're going to pause for a bit. We're going to see how things go, and we're going to be more data dependent. That might get people off the couch to buy and feel better. The sentiment is changing, right? I see it in the financial markets. Financial markets are
Yeah.
great. No
Well,
crazy volatility lately. It's on the positive side, and they got crushed in
I
all of
was
2022.
I was talking to Bill yesterday, our broker of record, and there's two things that he noticed. He noticed that in January there's been almost no listings. Like
Yeah.
listings are not coming up. And yesterday they had a little stat on the Barrie board, like on your home screen, they have like a
Yeah.
little graph.
Yeah.
And the average sale price, there was actually an upswing.
It's funny you say that because this guy I follow in London is a realtor, and he did a video on last night. I saw it, and he reported the same thing. uptick.
uptick.
So
So the thing is that the consumer is not is in
they're
as
not.
much trouble as the media is portraying that they are.
They're not. They're not.
So like all my buyers, they and I hate to be negative, but it's driving me crazy because, well, Diane, the prices are going to keep going down. People are going to be losing their homes. The interest rate, the interest rate, the interest rate. You know what? It's not happening. People are not in the trouble that the media is portraying that they are. They're just
No,
not.
no. And you got to look at it. Okay, the strength of the consumer. We've got high inflation. What are we seeing coming out of markets? Record profits by Loblaws. Shell reported a $40 billion profit. People are still spending money on, because they have no choice on fuel, but food, they need groceries. They're still spending money. Retail sales aren't, I haven't seen the retail sales come out yet, but it's coming. They're spending. So if they're spending, and then we're seeing corporate American and Canadian corporations coming off with great earnings, the consumer is not in bad shape.
They're
But
not.
will these rate hikes catch up to the consumer? Because we had 7 rate hikes last year. Eventually, when will they catch up? I don't know. If we start seeing inflation go down, that's a plus. And we are not super fast. They're not getting to the 2% this year, I'll tell you that.
No, and this guy that did this report at the Barrie board, he's saying that he thinks like 20 the last quarter of 2023 we might see like recession numbers stuff. But he doesn't know if it's going to affect the housing market because the inventory levels are low. The population growth is huge. So, it's a tough call. As long as inventory stays low,
And demand, though, demand's got to come in this picture somewhere too.
population growth. If all these people are coming in,
Yes, and some of them are renters, and yes, some of them are buyers. Half of them migrate in Ontario. Of course, they're going to stay in Toronto, but some are going to come up these ways. We know this market's been fueled by that buyer down south.
and
It's
guess
been
what
that way
else?
for
Guess
years.
what else he reported, Mark?
What
The rental market is down.
in what on rents?
Yep. In Toronto, the rental market has gone down. Uh, I'm going to try to find it here. It was like 24% or something.
Wow, but a lot more supply too, right? A lot of supply
The
came on.
supply is so new rental completions will likely be at record highs in 2023. Already early signs that rental demand is slowing down. Condo
Right.
rentals in Toronto are down 24.7% in quarter
Yeah.
four.
And that and that's a real big part that's impacting inflation. So you drive down those rents a bit, it's going to help that number. It's
And
going to.
looking in Barrie, I looked 2 days ago, there was 103 rentals listed.
Yeah.
I've never seen that amount in my career, ever.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot of rentals, and look back 6 7 months ago, we were or 8 months ago, we were seeing bidding wars on rentals. People, and it was just you're getting 2,400 for a townhouse. What? Yeah, we had to compete. We offered them 2,600,
Yeah,
and we're going to give 6 months in advance.
I know.
Whoa,
And
whoa.
now there's a million of them,
There's a
and
lot more
not a
than there was.
million, but there's a lot, and it's taking 3, 4, 5 months. I've
Yeah,
talked to some realtors that they've been waiting for months and months.
yeah.